Hi, this is Hayley from Hayley Adams Tutorial, and now we'll be discussing the next part of how to take this rig one step further. So as you can see here, all the appropriate names are being given to the joints, like so. And now we can go in and create the next couple of parts. So, to start with, we want to go onto the curve shelf, and we're going to be making our controllers. Pull that out here. I'm just going to snap it to the joint, press and hold V. Rotate that around. What we want to do is go modify, freeze transformations. We're going to call this left hand control, like so. Duplicate this over, snap it to the joint, rename that one. Now the next part that we're going to do is to create the back. So if we just go back into animation, I'm going to create a couple of joints. Like so. Bring up the outliner. We can just close these down by pressing and hold shift. Like so. Press and hold shift to expand. Call this one root. 1, 2, 3, 4. And call this one head. This one neck. Chest. And spine. Now you can add as many different joints as you want in here. For now, we'll just keep it simple for the principle of it. And then what we're going to do is add an additional joint onto here. So if we just go into front view, click them once and press enter. Press G to repeat the last tool used. Again, enter. Go into perspective view and we're just going to move these back. Like so. Press and hold Control on the keyboard to deselect. This one can be called right arm, left arm, press and hold shift on the chest joint, press P to parent. And just do the same here. Parent the joints. It's always to make sure that your root joint is the first joint you create and that the joint direction always bridges outwards, never inwards, okay? Now what we're going to do is duplicate these controllers over to here. Press and hold V to snap to the joint. Like so. And now if we press and hold right click to go to control vertex, if you notice as we go to select the vertices, it automatically selects the joint. So what we can do here is go up to here, and this will allow us to deselect joints. So now it collects them all. And what we want to do is to have the center point of the controller here. So if we just pull that out, push that up a bit, and then press F8 to go to object mode. As you can see, the pivot of the joint is still centered within the joint itself, which is what we want. rather than being in the centre of the curve. So this way it allows us to grab the controller without having to go directly into the curve. You can duplicate this for the other side. And we've got this ready. We just want to rename this one, or rename it, to right shoulder control, like so. Make sure that all the controls that we've created so far have the value of 0. So freeze the transformations. Now what we're going to do, so we can either go into skeleton and select IK handle tool, or we can use this option here, but because we're going to be setting up the options to begin with, it's always wise to go to the drop down menu. So select the option box to IK handle tool, and make sure that we're on rotate plane solver. That's very crucial this happens because as we continue through the tutorial and start to use pole vectors, if it's selected as a single chain solver, it won't work. So make sure it's set to this one. Keep the rest of the options the same. Close the toolbox. Now we're going to be selecting the shoulder joint and the wrist joint. And as you can see, we've created this. Now what we want to do is parent the controller to the IK. So first we select the control, then zoom in so we can see the handle of the IK, so the orange bit, and then go to constrain, and we want to go to point, but select the option box. Make sure maintain offset is clicked, and click add. And now it moves the joint around. It's pretty cool, makes animating a lot simpler. But while we can point, if we try and rotate, nothing happens. We want the wrist to be able to move. So again, make sure the control is selected, and this time we only want to select the joint. So press and hold shift. We have this option clipped off, so make sure it's clipped back on. Like so. Constrain. We go to orient this time, click the option box again, and we want to make sure that maintain offset is checked. Click add. That's very important. Whenever you put any constraints on, you should always check to make sure your rig still works. In case anything goes wrong, you can fix it there and then. So the orient constraint works, and the point constraint still works. Now what we're going to do is create a locator, and this will control the axis of our elbow, the direction it faces. So if we go to create, go down to locator, and what we're going to do is we're going to snap it to the joint of the elbow, press and hold V or shortcut, and click on here. Once it's snapped, we're just going to pull it out a little bit to the side, like so. Again, to make life easier when it comes to animating, make sure to always freeze the transformations. And we're going to label this right pole vector. Okay? If you had more than one limb, so for example you had arms and legs, you would name it right arm pole vector, but because we've only got the arms and we're not going to be using it for anything else, we can get away with just calling it right pole vector. Now what we want to do, select the pole vector and then select the IK. We want to go to constrain and click pole vector. As you can see, this green line has appeared. So now if I get the controller, move it up like that, using the locator, it will now twist into the direction that I face it into. Again, making sure everything still works. Orient constraint. Just reset these values to 0. Reset these values to 0. Like so. And that comes to the end of this tutorial. The next one, I can show you how to create controllers that will control the different joints, like so. Continue the shoulder joints, and then how to attach your camera in the later series. Okay? Thanks for watching.